Part 123. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1221. There are so many zombies that I cannot eliminate by myself. I took a deep breath and directly summoned the ghost sea. The inky black flowed under the moonlight, and then gathered into a black ocean around me. In a sense, I have not really mastered Tianfu City God. Because, Bai Vuchang and I have an agreement beforehand. Only after I destroy the places where corpses are raised everywhere will the entire Tianfu City God obey my orders. Therefore, I can only use the Yin soldiers in the Sea of Ghosts first. Yin soldiers wearing armor and holding weapons emerged from the Sea of Ghosts. In an instant, Yin Qi soared into the sky, forming a confrontation with the corpse Qi of the surrounding zombies. When Ho Qing saw so many Yin soldiers summoned, his expression instantly became extremely serious. I gave the order, and countless Yin soldiers attacked the surrounding zombies. The Yin soldiers in the Netherworld Ghost Sea are stronger than ordinary Yin soldiers, and there are many more. However, it's still a lot worse than zombies. After all, zombies are existences beyond the six realms, immortal and immortal. They are also extremely powerful and have stiff skin. Normal means cannot harm them. As soon as the Yin soldiers and zombies fought, the Yin soldiers fell into a disadvantage. Seeing this situation, I activated the soul-stealing blood hand without any hesitation. Scarlet blood spread from my right arm, instantly covering my entire right arm. I guided the blood to flow into the Ghost Sea. The Ghost Sea, which was originally as dark as ink, was instantly dyed red with blood. Even the Yin soldiers were covered with a layer of blood. It's like wearing a bloody armor. With the help of blood from the soul-stealing blood hand, the strength of the Yin soldiers increased instantly. Although zombies are soulless, they can still hurt them. I held Jingxiao in my hand and looked at 11 Qing coldly. A trace of bloodlust flashed in Ho Qing's eyes. He took a step forward, and the corpse energy around him surged, and then he disappeared in an instant. He was so fast that I didn't even see him clearly. At this moment, I felt the strong wind roaring in my ears. I turned my head suddenly and saw Ho Qing opening his bloody mouth and biting me. His sharp fangs exuded a heart-warming sound in the moonlight. Shocking chill. I was shocked, and quickly raised the Jingxiao in my hand to block it in front of me. Ho Qing bit down on Jingxiao. I saw the opportunity and squeezed the secret with one hand. Blue thunder and lightning instantly spread across the Jingxiao sword, making a crackling sound. Ho Qing was in pain and quickly distanced herself from me. I really underestimate you. Ho Qing looked at me and said in a serious tone. I looked at the queen and said word by word, I don't care what conspiracy there is between you and the general. No matter what happens today, as long as I am still here, you will not be able to leave alive. Ho Qing raised a sneer at the corner of his mouth and said jokingly, do you really think you can kill us? Even if you kill us, our souls will still be there. You know, the four of us all have souls in our bodies. I frowned. It seemed that the only ancestors of the four zombies were Huqing, Zhangchen and Yinggu. They were changed by Jian's soul. Hanbao is the most mysterious of the four ancestors of zombies. Is it possible that he also has a soul in his body? Ho Qing slowly stretched out his hand, and then spread his palm, exuding a strong corpse aura. The next moment, the power of the general in my body began to restless. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1222. The power of the general in my body, actually resonated with the qi in the queen's body. I quickly suppressed the power of the general in my body. I used the general's power without authorization before in Yaokai, which caused this power to run rampant in my body. I was seriously injured afterwards, and I had no way of controlling this tyrannical power. The main reason why I can't master it is that I am alone. The power of generals is the power of the ancestors of zombies. However, this general is one of the 9 evil stars. If I can kill him in the sky coffin, then I can naturally control this power. All the power of the 9 evil stars comes from me. All I did was take back my own abilities. A sneer appeared at the corner of Ho Ching's lips and disappeared instantly. When he appeared again, he was already in front of me. I looked shocked. Because I wanted to suppress the power of the generals, my reaction was relatively slow. I wanted to hide, but it was too late. Ho Ching's sandbag-sized fist hit my chest hard. I was punched out by Ho Ching and then fell heavily to the ground. With this blow, I felt a tightness in my chest, blood boiling in my body, and my throat was fishy and sweet. I spit out a mouthful of blood with a loud sound. Ho Ching looked sarcastic and said, "Lu Su, I admit that you have made rapid progress, but there are some things that you cannot interfere with. You should never come here alone, but it just so happens that I can take this opportunity to kill you, then open the coffin and release the contents." I struggled to stand up and looked at Ho Ching solemnly. The sky coffin has 9 levels in total, and every level suppresses evil spirits and ghosts. The first layer, that is, the layer of Qingyang evil star, suppresses and seals the corpses of countless animals. In addition, evil Buddhas, evil ways, evil dragons, monsters. These are suppressed by the sky coffin, and I am the key to the sky coffin. If I die, the coffin will open and the things inside will escape. As for what the consequences will be, you don't need to think about it, it will definitely be a loss of life. I was anxious, wondering whether Yu Sun Tao had arranged the 4-dimensional corpse formation. Ho Ching walked towards me step by step. He seemed to know that villains die from talking too much. So, after saying that, he stopped saying anything to me. At this moment, I suddenly saw a beautiful figure from the corner of my eye. I saw Yu Sun Tao standing not far away and nodding towards me. I was overjoyed, and I kneaded the tactic with both hands, silently reciting the tactic in my mind to activate the corpse-laying formation in all directions. The 4-sided corpse formation relies on the power of the stars in the 4-sided star field. In ancient times, the stars in the sky were divided into 7 star regions, 3 UN and 4 symbols. The Sifang star region refers to the 4-elephant star region. That is to say, the stars in the east are like a dragon, the stars in the west are like a tiger, the stars in the south are like a big bird, and the stars in the north are like turtles and snakes. But this 4-way corpse formation does not borrow the power of the 4 sacred beasts, but only borrows the power of the stars in the star area. As I quickly kneaded the secrets, the dark clouds in the sky suddenly dispersed, and the stars in the east, west, south, and north were shining brightly. The stars in the east gather and connect to form the shape of a dragon, while in the west it is the shape of a tiger, the man is a big bird, and in the north it is the shape of a basalt. Ho Ching noticed something unusual and suddenly raised his head to look at the sky, his expression suddenly changed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1223. What did you kid do? Ho Ching shouted at me. I ignored him and continued to mobilize the corpse formation in all directions. This 4-sided corpse formation is a lost and superior formation. The superior formation is so powerful that it can attract strange phenomena from heaven and earth. However, performing this formation takes a lot of time and energy. Because, with my current strength, there is simply no way to use it directly. Moreover, people with shallow skills are still unable to use it, and it may even come back to bite them. Sure enough, I felt that the energy and strength in my body were rapidly being drained. This 4-sided corpse formation is like a huge black hole, absorbing everything crazily. Ho Ching took advantage of the gap when I activated the formation and launched an attack on me. At this moment, a beautiful figure appeared in front of me. She held the Thunder Jew in her hand and blasted towards Ho Ching. Lightning flashes appeared, thunder bursts, and Ho Ching was forced to retreat. It was Yu Sun Tao who took action. Yu Sun Tao's thunder technique is only as powerful as the 4th level, but it shouldn't be a problem for Ho Ching to delay it. But with my current physical condition, I cannot continue to activate the corpse formation in all directions. Therefore, I can only unseal the 2 meridians and use the dragon energy in my body. The seal was released, and I felt endless power rushing wildly inside my body. I took this opportunity to continue to mobilize the corpse formation in all directions. The stars in the 4 star fields emitted dazzling light. I swear, I have never seen such a bright starry sky in my life. Because, in this era, environmental pollution is relatively serious, and it is extremely difficult to see such a bright starry sky in the city. But now, the sky is filled with stars twinkling, and among them, the sudden appearance of the 4 divine beasts formed by the stars is particularly bright. I shouted loudly, and countless starlight poured down from the 4 directions, east, west, north, and south, and then slowly spread out, wrapping the Changling community. At this moment, countless stars hung like sharp swords on each zombie's head. I also took this opportunity to take back the netherworld Ghost Sea. The 4 phantoms gathered by the starlight appear in the 4 directions of southeast, northwest, and northwest. I shouted at Yu Sun Tao, "Get out of the way." Yu Sun Tao heard my words and quickly hid aside. I raised Jingxiao in my hand, and then dropped it hard. Those starlights, like sharp swords, fell straight down and penetrated the zombies' bodies. In just a blink of an eye, I killed all the zombies present. Ho Ching's expression changed drastically and he gave me a fierce look. He also knew how terrifying this formation was. He wanted to run away, but it was too late. I controlled the 4-dimensional starlight shadow and attacked the queen. The green dragon, white tiger, red bird, and Suanwei formed by the starlight engulfed Ho Ching at an extremely fast speed. Ho Ching was unable to move for an instant because these 4 images had firmly bound him. With the power of the stars, no matter how powerful the queen is, she can't break free at all. When I saw this, I used 9 Eyes Heavenly Domain and disappeared instantly. When I reappeared, I had already picked up the 9-level thunder technique. With the blessing of dragon energy, I superimposed the power of the 9-level thunder technique to the 6th level. The suppression of the corpse formation from all directions has weakened the Ho Ching's strength. I will definitely be able to kill him completely with this 6th level thunder technique. The thunder and lightning hovering in the sky suddenly fell down with thunderous light, completely swallowing up the queen. I was also blown away by this huge power. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1224. I fell heavily to the ground, and Yu Sun Tao quickly stepped forward to help me up. My eyes were fixed on where the queen was. When the lightning dissipated, a figure stood quietly. The pale moonlight poured down, shining impartially on the generals. The 9 layers of thunder technique had already burned Ho Ching's body to pieces, and the clothes on his body were burning with flames. However, his scarlet eyes were still staring at me. I frowned. Not dead yet? The continuous use of the 4-dimensional corpse formation, plus the 6-layer sky thunder, took a huge toll on me, and now my limbs feel limp and weak. You almost killed me. Ho Ching said slowly, with murderous intent in his eyes. You shouldn't be able to do anything now. If that's the case, then go die. Ho Ching dragged his broken body and rushed towards me. My face condensed, and I supported my weak body and used the 9 Eyes Heavenly Domain. I disappeared instantly, and when I reappeared, I was already behind the queen. Ho Ching's movement stagnated, and he turned around suddenly, and saw that I had already raised Jingxiao. Without any hesitation, I used my last bit of strength to pierce Jingxiao into Ho Ching's heart. I just heard a puff, and Ho Ching's chest was pierced by my sword. He looked at me in disbelief, then fell heavily to the ground. My legs also weakened and I collapsed to the ground. Yu Sun Tao exclaimed, quickly ran to my side, and asked with concern, Lu Su, are you okay? I shook my head at Yu Sun Tao. Yu Sun Tao took a breath of cold air and said in disbelief, you actually killed him. I shook my head at Yu Sun Tao and said, no. What's wrong? I recalled the scene where I stabbed the queen with Jingxiao just now. My body is extremely weak, and the movements of my hands are also very slow. With your current physical condition, you will be able to avoid my attack. But, he didn't hide just now. Instead, he allowed me to pierce Jingxiao into his chest. What exactly is going on? It was obvious that Ho Qing wanted to die. I frowned, shook my head at Yu Sun Tao, and said, it's nothing. Yu Sun Tao helped me up, and I came to Ho Qing's body, summoned the karma fire, and burned his body. After doing this, I sat down to rest. Bodies were scattered everywhere in Changling community. The four-sided corpse formation just now had wiped out all the zombies in Changling community, leaving only the corpses lying on the spot. I can't believe that your strength has improved so quickly in such a short period of time. If my junior sister knew about it, she would definitely be happy with you. I raised a wry smile on my lips and said, if I were really strong, I wouldn't have to spend so much effort. I had almost rested, so I stood up, summoned the karma fire, and burned all the corpses in Changling community. For these corpses, burning is the last respect for them. After doing these things, Yu Sun Tao drove me back to Jiyuntang in his car. As soon as I opened the door, I saw Miao Fengluan sitting on the Eight Immortals chair with a worried face. Seeing that I came back safely, she also let out a long sigh of relief. Yu Sun Tao said to me, Lu Su, you have to be careful during this period. If you kill the elders of the Taoist sect and destroy the corpse-raising ground, the Taoist sect will definitely take action against you. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1225. I nodded and said, I understand. Please pay attention to Daemon's movements during the recent period. Yu Sun Tao crossed her arms over her chest, and the size of her chest was instantly huge. She looked at me with a smile and said, why, please, Master, do I do things as a matter of course? Don't you even call me Master? The corner of my mouth twitched slightly. Why does this woman care so much about the title of Master? I sighed helplessly and said, Uncle, please help me pay attention to the movements of the Taoist section. Yu Sun Tao snorted softly and said, that's pretty much it? She changed the topic and said, you are now a thorn in the side of Daemon. They will not take action against you for the time being, because you are no longer the Lu Su you once were. However, you must be extremely careful. They will attack the people around you. You must know that those in the Taoist sect will do whatever it takes to achieve their goals. Yu Sun Tao's worries are not without reason. Now I can kill even the Taoist sect leader. Those Taoist sect people naturally know how dangerous I am. With the insidious and cunning style of Taoism, they will not attack me easily. Therefore, they are very likely to attack the people around me. Okay, I get it. Yu Sun Tao said nothing more and turned to leave. I let out a long sigh. After looking around for corpses, I finally solved one, and there were 3 more. However, I am very concerned about Ho Qing's affairs. Why did he choose to die when he could obviously hide away? Is it possible that death has other meanings to him? Miao Fengluan stood next to me and suddenly asked, Lu Su, I made dinner for you, would you like to eat some? I was slightly startled, nodded, and replied, okay. Miao Fengluan brought over the food that had been prepared before. While I was eating, I said, Fengluan, do you know your life experience? Miao Fengluan was a little confused when he heard the sentence and said, life experience? Of course I know. I shook my head seriously at Miao Fengluan, and then told her about her and Princess Longji. After hearing this, Miao Fengluan was stunned. After a while, she said, "Then, will this have any impact on me?" I shook my head and replied, "Of course it won't have any impact. In fact, you will get some kind of adventure as a result." "An adventure?" Miao Fengluan's star-like eyes flashed with confusion. I explained patiently, "You were created by Princess Longji. She will definitely give you something as a gift, or she may have something to tell you. The fruits of the sacred tree are inherently sacred." If Miao Fengluan had started practicing Taoism since she was a child, her Taoism would have been very high by now. I spoke out all the thoughts in my mind. Miao Fengluan fell into silence after hearing this. After a while, he raised his head and asked, "That means, I can become stronger and help you?" I was stunned. I didn't expect that when Miao Fengluan heard these things, the first thing he thought of was me. I sighed slightly and said, "I don't want you to become stronger." "Why?" "Because." I hesitated for a long time, but in the end I didn't tell the reason. "Because, I think, everyone has the opportunity to choose life, and I can't take it away. The reason why I don't want Miao Fengluan to become stronger is because of the safety of her life." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1226. With Miao Fengluan's character, she will definitely help me after she becomes stronger. I have no control over the things I'm facing, and I'm afraid she'll be put in danger. Forget it, let's not talk about this matter for now. "Oh." Miao Fengluan said obediently. After eating, I returned to my room and first used Su Tianxuan's diary to write a diary about what happened today. In my diary, I also expressed how much I missed her. After doing this, I fell asleep. The next morning, I was woken up by the noise in the lobby on the first floor. When I came to the lobby on the first floor, I saw Zhang 11 running towards the second floor in a hurry. When he saw me coming down, he said anxiously to me, "Lu Su, I want to tell you something next. After you know it, you must stay calm." I frowned, nodded towards Zhang 11, and said, "Just tell me." Zhang Shi took a deep breath and said in a very serious tone, "Something happened to your third uncle." Something happened to the third uncle. When I heard the news, my heart twitched violently. After the matter of the good and evil double-faced Buddha was resolved, the third uncle went to do his own things. In the days that followed, my third uncle also came to see me and told me about his current situation. He did not leave Tianfu City, but used the methods his grandfather taught him to help people in Tianfu City. I am not busy on weekdays, and my life is comfortable. After all, it is also very profitable to help people with their affairs. I am also happy with Uncle San's life. However, something happened to the third uncle now. I didn't yell like before, nor did I immediately rush out of Jiyuntang to look for my third uncle. Because, I know, even if I do that, things won't change in any way. "Lu Su, are you okay?" I took a deep breath and said to Zhang Shi, "I'm fine." "How did you know about this?" Zhang 11 replied, "Your third uncle and I have had some contact recently. He always asks me for information about you. Some time ago, he said that he was going to help a wealthy businessman with his affairs and he needed my help. This morning, I called your third uncle to ask if you still need me, but I called several times in a row and no one answered. I went to your third uncle's residence to look for him, but I couldn't find him. After some inquiries, I learned that your third uncle had an accident when he went to see the wealthy businessman and disappeared." After listening, I nodded and said, "Take me to that wealthy merchant now." Zhang Shi quickly agreed. Afterwards, Zhang Shi and I went to the rich man's home. On the way there, Zhang Xiai told me about the strange things that happened to the rich man's family. The rich man has a daughter who is a sophomore this year. She raised a kid in the dormitory and was haunted by the kid. Then she found her third uncle to deal with it. Raising a brat. Zhang 11 nodded and said, yes, it's raising a kid. That girl is very beautiful to begin with, but she wants to enter the entertainment industry, so she raises a kid to make herself more beautiful. Hearing this sentence, I frowned. There seemed to be something wrong with this girl's brain. With a rich father, it is not easy to enter the entertainment industry. Why keep a kid? If this girl has a normal mind, it means that this matter is not that simple. It is very likely that this girl has been bewitched. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1227. No matter what, I have to go to the rich man's home to take a look. Only by understanding the situation in person can I make an inference. Soon, Zhang Xiai took me to the most luxurious villa area in Changling City. Zhang Xiai seemed to be very familiar with this place. After getting off the car, he took me to a villa. The villa is magnificent, with a variety of vegetation planted in the yard, and the scenery is extremely beautiful. Moreover, the feng shui of this yard is also excellent. An artificial river was dug in the yard. Although it is not big, it forms a jade belt around the waist, and the fortune star shines in the feng shui here. The so-called jade belt around the waist means that rivers or roads surround houses or buildings in a circular, semicircular, or arc shape. Feng Shui also calls it belt water or shungong water. Because the belts of high-ranking officials in ancient times were associated with buildings, jade belts were also a symbol of financial power. This courtyard did not have this Feng Shui pattern from the beginning, but someone arranged it later. It can be seen that this rich man still believes in this Feng Shui technique. Zhang Xiai said to me, I already said hello to this rich man before coming here, so let's just go in. I nodded and entered the villa with Zhang Xiai. Zhang Xiai knocked on the door of the villa, and a moment later, a fat man with a fat head and big ears walked out. The fat man in front of him had a very haggard face, with sunken and black eyes. Mr. Zhang, are you here? The fat man looked surprised. Zhang 11 nodded and said, let me introduce to you, this is Lu Su. He will help you handle your daughter's affairs. The fat man looked me up and down with suspicion in his eyes. Needless to say, this guy looks down on me, but if you think about it carefully, I am not old and no one can believe that I can use Feng Shui. Zhang Xiai said to the fat man, don't underestimate him, his moral conduct is above mine. What he said is right. Now my moral conduct is already above Zhang Xiai's. The main reason for this is that my memories of Lu Bowen and Yuan Tiangang have awakened, and I have a lot of Feng Shui skills in my head. Coupled with the dragon energy of the 99 dragon veins in my body, Doxing has already surpassed Zhang Xiai. After hearing this, the fat man looked at me and his eyes changed obviously. He quickly said, Master Lu, please come quickly, please come quickly. With that said, he welcomed me in very enthusiastically. I didn't talk nonsense with the man and directly asked the fat man about his daughter. Through some conversations, I also gained the most basic understanding of men. The man's name is Feng Minghai. He started his career in real estate and has a high status in Tianfu City. Feng Minghai's daughter is named Feng Yingying, and she is a student at Tianfu University. Because her family has a house in Tianfu City, she often goes home. But recently, for some unknown reason, her daughter goes home less and less, and she looks haggard every time she comes back. No spirit at all. Just 2 days ago, her daughter suddenly fell ill and was hospitalized. Feng Minghai hurried to the hospital and saw his dying daughter. Her daughter's condition is very strange. All physical indicators are normal, but she has constant fever and is still asleep. Common sense can no longer explain this matter, so Feng Minghai found my third uncle. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1228. Through the conversation, I was able to determine that the disappearance of my third uncle had nothing to do with Feng Minghai. I asked about my third uncle. Feng Minghai shook his head and replied, Master Lu Junliang has not been out since he went to my little girl's school. Lu Junliang, the name of the third uncle. Feng Minghai continued, in the past few days, I kept sending people to look for Master Lu, but I searched the entire school and couldn't find him. Feng Minghai also seemed very regretful about this incident. I stood up and said, take me to the hospital now. I want to see your daughter. Feng Minghai nodded and quickly took me to Tianfu City First Hospital. Everyone was dumbfounded when we arrived at the hospital ward. Because, the hospital bed was empty, and Feng Yingying was nowhere to be seen. The nurse on the side was dumbfounded when she saw this scene. Feng Minghai asked angrily, where is my daughter? The little nurse replied tremblingly, I don't know either. I said to Feng Minghai, don't worry, you can adjust the monitoring first. Feng Minghai nodded and quickly went to investigate the surveillance. With Feng Minghai's status in Tianfu City, it was very simple to adjust the surveillance here. Soon, the surveillance team investigated. Feng Yingying left the hospital at 12 o'clock that night. Feng Yingying under surveillance seemed to be sleepwalking, staggering and walking unsteadily. Moreover, Feng Yingying was very beautiful, but she looked a little strange under surveillance. Zhang Shi, I whispered in my ear, what should we do now? I thought about it again and said, the only option is to use the ambush tracking method. The ambush and tracking method is a mission technique that uses blood as a guide and lights incense to lead the way to find the traces of the person you want to find. This technique has also appeared in zombie movies. Zhang Shi looked at me in surprise and asked, missions technique, can you also use it? I nodded and replied, of course we can, but we don't have Feng Yingying's blood now, so we can only use her underwear or hair instead. In this case, it will be difficult to find Feng Yingying, so we can only give it a try. Zhang 11 nodded, and suddenly thought of a question. He asked, why don't you use this method to find your third uncle? I shook my head and said, I can't find it. The third uncle's disappearance must not have been his intention. Someone must have done something secretly. Therefore, this tracking method will not work at all on my third uncle. It is impossible for the third uncle to disappear for no reason, because this is not his character. Now there are only two of us in the entire Lu family. Before he does anything, he will definitely find me first. Zhang Shi sighed slightly and said, I hope I can find Feng Yingying. He hesitated for a moment and said, wait for me, I will use our credit method to predict what will happen next. I hummed, and at this moment, Cai Dai's voice suddenly sounded in my mind. Lu Su, the woman under surveillance, seems to have lost her soul. Moreover, her soul seems to have been lost in a dream. Hearing this sentence, I was slightly startled. Was my soul lost in a dream? I asked in a low voice, then do you have any way to find her soul? Cai Dai denied, you can't find her, unless you can find her body. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1229. One thing I'm very confused about is that Feng Yingying has no soul, so why can her body still move on its own? I asked the doubts in my heart. Cai Dai replied, this situation can only be called sleepwalking. There is also a possibility that someone has controlled her body. In short, only by finding the girl's body can we know everything. I nodded. I searched around Feng Yingying's hospital bed and found a few strands of Feng Yingying's hair. These few hairs are the key to finding Feng Yingying. We returned to the Feng family villa, and I found incense candles, incense ash, red rope and other props for the practice. Fen Minghai asked with some confusion, Master Lu, what are you going to do? I replied, looking for traces of your daughter, but I need your help. Naturally, Fen Minghai would not refuse. After all, it was his own daughter who was missing. I asked Fen Minghai to stand up, hold the wooden board covered with incense ash with both hands, and then tie his index fingers with the red rope. Zhang Shi looked at my operations with curiosity on his face. It was probably his first time seeing the ambush tracking method. I took out Fen Yingying's hair that I found on the hospital bed and placed it on Fen Minghai's index finger. Then I took out the incense candle and inserted the other end of the incense candle into Fen Minghai's index finger. Fen Minghai screamed in pain, and I said, "Don't panic, I just want you to bleed a little." As I said that, I took out the glass and lit the yellow paper inside. Fen Yingying's hair was still mixed in the yellow paper. Then, I used the flame of the yellow paper in the glass to burn Fen Minghai's index finger. The index finger was pricked by the end of the incense candle, and blood fell down. Being burned by flames is a very painful thing, but Fen Minghai gritted his teeth and persisted for the sake of his daughter. Seeing that it was almost time, I suddenly picked up the glass and placed it on Fen Minghai's mouth. The next moment, the flame in the glass was extinguished, leaving only thick white smoke. Fen Minghai inhaled all the white smoke into his lungs. Suddenly, Fen Minghai rolled his eyes and fell into a coma. I stretched out my foot and lightly kicked Fen Minghai's calf. Fen Minghai's legs softened and he was about to kneel to the ground. I quickly used my legs to support his knees so that he would not fall to the ground. Then, I took out an incense stick and put the end in his mouth, and then the other end of the incense was pressed against the wooden board covered with incense ash that Fen Minghai was holding in his hands. The next moment, something magical happened. The incense began to move slowly on the wooden board covered with incense ash. This is somewhat similar to what the pen looks like when it moves when playing Pen Fairy. Soon, a very clear line appeared on the wooden board covered with incense ash. I put Fen Minghai on the ground, and then combined the detailed analysis process with the ambush tracking method to deduce the location where Fen Yingying was. I asked Zhang Shi to find a floor plan of Tianfu City. After comparing it, I confirmed that Fen Yingying was at the First University of Tianfu City at this moment. As for the specific location in the university, I still need to go to the university to take a look. Soon, Fen Minghai woke up, and I explained to him that I was going to Tianfu University. Fen Minghai listened, nodded in agreement, and stated that he would give me the greatest convenience. I hesitated again and said, "Can you fulfill my request to go to the girls' dormitory?" After hearing this, Fen Minghai was slightly startled, then nodded and replied, "Of course. My Feng family has shares in Tianfu University. It is no longer a problem to go to the girls' dormitory in a legitimate manner." Sky Coffin. Author, Qing Nian Wanbao. Chapter 1230. I'm going to take a look at the girls' dormitory where Fen Yingying is. Only in this way can I determine what kind of kid Fen Yingying is raising. The reason why Fen Yingying became like this was entirely because of that little devil. After getting rid of that little devil, I will try to see if I can ask Fen Yingying about my third uncle. In the afternoon, I came to Tianfu University. Kadi followed me, looking at everything in the school with interest. "Lu Su, going to school seems to be fun. Can you let me go to school too?" Kadi raised her head and looked at me expectantly. I rolled my eyes and said, "Just stay by my side." Nai Dai goes to school? I can't even think about it. Don't look at the little guy who is very obedient around me, but this attitude is not the same when facing outsiders. If she meets someone who makes her angry, who knows if she will poison him to death. Cai Dai said angrily, "Lu Su, you can't kill my desire to learn for the sake of your happiness." I asked with some confusion, "My happiness?" Cai Dai replied seriously, "Yes. Your happiness. Think about it, with a lovely person like me by your side, how can you not be happy? I was speechless for a moment, stretched out my hand and knocked Cai Dai hard on the head, and said, why didn't I realize you were so narcissistic before? I suddenly remembered something and asked, where do you think Fen Yingying's soul is? Before coming here, I also used the method of summoning spirits on Fen Yingying, but Fen Yingying's soul was not in the world. I asked Xiang Yi, and Xiang Yi also said that there is no Fen Yingying soul in the underworld. Kaidi thought for a while and replied, if I guessed correctly, her soul should be in the dream abyss. I have entered the abyss of dreams with Cai Dai before. It is a world that exists alone. The world contains everyone's dreams, a deserted place, and there are all kinds of nightmare activities. If we find Fen Yingying's body, we can use it to find Fen Yingying's soul in the abyss of dreams. Wouldn't it be possible to know what happened to her through dreams? Cai Dai nodded and replied, theoretically, it's possible. If I could really use Fen Yingying's dream to know how things developed, it would save me a lot of effort. Kaidi raised her head, blinked at me, and asked, do you want to see Sister Tianxian? I was stunned and asked, do you have any idea? Kaidi replied, of course. I can let you enter the dream of Sister Tianxian, and then you can meet her. However, this method can only be used once, and it will not work a second time. I said with some surprise, Kaidi, are you telling the truth? Of course it's true. Otherwise, why would I tell you? Su Tianxian and I have been separated for some time, and I miss her more and more. If I can see her, it will relieve my pain of lovesickness. However, if I fall into a dream, will I disturb Tianxuan's inheritance? Nai Dai seemed to have seen what I was thinking. She said, don't worry, this won't have any impact on Sister Tianxian, because you have Sister Tianxuan's heartfelt message in your hands. When you want to enter her dream, she will know it. Maybe she can still. I will make a special trip to wait for you.